Hang in there.
That Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show. Smylie Kaufman is live from Birmingham, Alabama, and I am live from the Marine Troon Hotel. I'm looking.
How are the rooms? I think I'm staying there soon.
Are you staying at the Marine Troon?
I think we are, yeah.
First of all, you're going to love the walk to the course because I'm looking right out the window right here in this conference room, and I'm looking at a tent that's situated right next to the golf course.
Really? Wow.
So that's going to be nice.
Are you there on 18?
Yes.
Sure you are. Why wouldn't you? Is Royal Troon closed right now? Can you play it?
It is. Okay. I think they shut it down for play. I think we got in on I think it was last Sunday. We got in, I want to say we had a whole travel fiasco that we can recap at some point. American Airlines. I got something for you, American Airlines.
Wait, all right, so you're staying there, but you're playing Prestwick, I imagine, at some point.
Prestwick tomorrow.
Are you able to go out and walk Royal Troon though? Are you able to do that?
Well, so Smylie, I went over to the Royal Troon shop yesterday, and I could walk out on the course if I wanted to. There's nothing stopping me. But as a committed Green Committee member back at home, I was trying to obey the signs that said don't step on the grass. I have a lot of respect for the greenskeepers out there in the world. So I didn't walk on the course, but one could, should they, feel motivated to. So, yeah.
You need to go check out number 7. You just got to go see the postage stamp.
Well, it's a shame. We're leaving tomorrow after we play Prestwick. I played.
What time are you playing?
Playing Prestwick at 10:30. I guess I'd have time to
wake up tomorrow morning and just walk out there and cruise around. You got to go see 11. You got to go see 7. It's those 2 holes out there.
I should that would be a good morning walk if I get up in time because it's 11:30 right now at night.
You're fine. You're fine. Come on.
Cup of tea. Yeah, we played Dundonald, Turnberry, and Western Gales thus far. Played Western Gales today.
I haven't played any of them.
Are you bringing your clubs?
I am not bringing my clubs
to the Open. Oh, that's right.
If I was going to be working the Scottish like I was originally supposed to be working, I would have brought my clubs and then had an opportunity to play some golf. Now working Tahoe. So yeah.
Headed to North Berwick on Tuesday, which I know was a favorite of yours last year.
Can't wait to hear.
Very excited.
I just want the whole review. I guess we can do the whole review. I don't want to I want the full thing once you've had chances to digest all the places you've played at the end of this whole trip. Because how long are you going?
We're going to be here for, I guess we leave on Saturday and today's Sunday. So we have another. Yeah.
There's just so many people that are probably listening right now. They're just say, wait, what? You got 6 more days of golf? No, is that math right? Are you leaving Saturday? Or are you
not
leaving
a math
Sunday?
guy? So I think if we're just doing this right, so we're playing Prestwick tomorrow, North Berwick on Tuesday, and then we start getting into some double days. We're doing Carnoustie, Panmure, we're doing Crail, Jubilee, we're doing Dumbarnie in the Old Course, and then we're finishing with Kingsbarns on Saturday. I was incorrect there. Playing Kingsbarns Saturday, and then flying home on Sunday.
What I was going to get to is that a lot of people hate you, and rightfully so.
Sorry, everybody. But come over here and play these courses and this specific area. I mean, it's a shame we couldn't get on Troon for the Open, but there is so much good golf here. Western Gales is instant top best. 5. Western Gales was unbelievable, dude.
Okay.
Spiritual place, on par with Sandhills in terms of the goosebumps you get when you're out in the course. Just adore the place.
Have you ever written a blog?
I don't think I ever have written a blog. Should I?
I kind of think you should write a blog.
Just do a little Scotland blog?
I want to read about your trip.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like we're in the video business. I feel like this could be like a YouTube video entry of a vlog, I believe is what those are called. Could do a little bit of that.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe we vlog this, but I do think a blog would be cool. I'd like to read just how to do the trip. Interested because planning's not easy for this stuff.
Planning's not easy, and we're very lucky. Well, thanks to my dad for booking all the marine hotels. So I think we're staying. We're here at Marine Troon, which is fantastic, right on Troon, and then we're doing the marine, the hotel and spa in North Barrack for a night. Then we're doing Rustics for 5 days on the old course. So if you didn't hate me before, you hate me now.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks, Dad.
I also say, you know, as one does when they go on a golf trip, I've been posting some swing videos on Instagram. Shout out to the 2 people who hopped in my DMs and told me my swing looked like Cam Young. I will make sure to Venmo you later.
Dude,
just shoot your handles over.
You actually do have some tempo similar to Cam Young. Like, you get the club to actually stop at the top. Right now, mine is like a whiplash. Just whoosh. It's
a swing that I like to borrow from. I also am working on similar anger management issues on the course. I've not cracked a driver ever, but you know, it happens to the best of us. So I'd say I understand it. Competitive drive, and you know, been there.
Is there a pub you could have watched the Rocket Mortgage at? Was that an option, or were you just watching it on an app? What were you doing?
So it was funny. I mean, what I really should have done is they had it on Sky Sports has like a channel for everything here, which is amazing. So they had a Sky Sports golf channel where they just take the CBS feed and just simulcast it and cut in from time to time with some thoughts from British commentators. So that was on the bar. I'm down here in like a conference room. I was trying to get set up, get everything ready for the pod. So I very sadly used a VPN to watch ESPN, the whatever it is, the hole by hole coverage, like the featured holes on 17. So I did not see any of the 18th hole.
I can walk you through it all.
Well, okay, let's get right into it then. We'll save the Scotland vlog for another day, and we got, you know, plenty to get to at the end of this episode. But should we take the victory lap ish on the one and done picks yet, or do you want to get right into the finish?
Let's talk about our one and done picks. I mean, it was a good week for it. Let's lead off with that.
It was a pretty dang good week for it, because Smylie, you and I we were trying something new that you proposed. Is like, let's pick 4 guys each, and let's, you know, just tell people who we like and who our picks are. And let me read you my 4 guys. I had Minwoo Lee tied for second, Aaron Rai tied for second, Luke Clanton, which, by the way, Luke Clanton, boys, tied for 10th.
Good pick. And
then my obsession with Matt McNeely continues. He finished T44, so that was the one that I missed on, but
made the cut.
It's coming around. It's coming around for Mav. You had Cam Young tied for 6th, Taylor Moore tied for 10th, Andrew Novak tied for 20th, and then you also had a T44 for Chris Kirk. But what that means is he was 2 over on Sunday. Tough day but it looked like the weather was kind of tough out there on Sunday.
It was tough.
Chilly for a while.
I mean, guys were wearing jackets. I just can't even fathom that right now, how hot it's been in Birmingham. So that was a big story today. It was a northwest wind. The sun wasn't out till the very end of the day, and the greens were not good. I mean, they were a tough scene. I could tell very early in the day that it was going to be kind of a bit of a battle, kind of bunch leaderboard, because of the wind direction, of how hard it was blowing, being a north wind. That's always going to make this golf course play more difficult. All the par 5s playing more back into the wind. And then just the greens, man, were bouncing all over the place. You could tell that when the Poana got wet, they were not rolling very true, because you saw guys miss putts from inside of 8 feet. They'd miss it by a foot. And you're like, what happened? Cam Davis did that on the eventual champion, which we'll eventually talk about. Cam Davis on the par 5 4th hole, hits this beautiful wedge or 9-iron in there, about 5 or 6 feet behind it. And I'm telling you, he missed his putt by a foot. And then the next hole rolls in this awesome putt for birdie. And he was the only guy, it felt like, all day, outside of, even Akshay at times. I mean, we'll get to his putt on 18, but Cam Davis was putting the best out of the entire bunch today, and really was close to making a ton of putts. But from watching it from start to finish today, which I'm sure you saw a good bit of the golf, that was my takeaway, was the conditions of the golf course being more difficult. So we didn't quite see the shootout.
that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
After Atlanta won the draft lottery, that I was taking Ricochet number 1. When he was at plus 425, I said Ricochet's going number 1. Well, hot damn, who's the big minus money favorite to go number 1 in the draft? Zachary Ricochet. Hopefully you had jumped on this earlier enough because the trains left the station.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I think I'll remember this event by, Cam Davis won, but everybody else really lost.
Well, it was strange to have seen everybody going deep the first 3 days of the tournament and thinking that's what to expect on Sunday, and just hoping both of our guys got in a little horse race.
Yeah.
I mean, we were really fingers crossed for the first one and done playoff, which would have been electric, featuring Aaron Rye and Cam Young. I mean, that would have been truly amazing stuff.
We need to be set up for that in the future, by the way. If that happens, we have our one and done guys. We have to be able... Yes, like Instagram Live or get live on Twitch where people can watch the playoff with us and just me throwing something or you throwing something. I think that's something we got to get dialed in.
I love that. We're committing to that. We will be live on some platform if we get a one and done playoff, wherever it is, and everyone can join us and live the agonies, the highs and the lows with us. I mean, your report on the conditions maybe softens the blow of this a little bit. I have some Clutch Gene questions about Aaron Rye. Maybe if any English pod listeners out there, if you can give me the British equivalent of the Clutch Gene conversation, whatever you do over there. That's usually like a soccer footy discussion. By the way, congrats to all the England fans for making it through to the quarters of the Euros on a last gasp goal there by Jude Bellingham. And Harry Kane. That was a
sweet bicycle kick.
Jude Bellingham, very good. Very, very good at the footy. But anyway, yes, please chime in if you have a Clutch Gene equivalent. But I mean, it was tough. He did pull out a driver off the deck, which I know was enthralling.
It was
enthralling for you.
It was awesome for somebody that's a driver off the deck connoisseur. It is always the flavor of the month for me, is the driver whenever I can. A lot of times now, as much as I've struggled with the swing over the last couple of years, I'll just throw the golf ball right on the ground on the tee because it's kind of high op proof for me. I have to wait on it. I have to let the club square up, and I hit it as straight as I can with that club. But I wouldn't pull it necessarily on a somewhat forced carry, or if I have to turn it over that much, because that brings in the chunk. And if anybody that's ever hit a driver off the deck, if you try to turn something over with it, the chunk is in play. So his shot that he hit from, I don't know what the number was, it was somewhere in the 270 to 290 range, and skirts it around that little pond. unbelievable shot. The stones were to pull off the shot was sick. But Aaron Rye, just to your point today, Charlie, from watching him all day, he kind of got gypped because he was built for a day like today and just didn't have his normal stuff tee to green. And also, I think that was, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I just think that I was watching with my dad and, who doesn't, watch a ton of Aaron Rye, shockingly, and was just, we were talking about the fact that I picked him and everything. And it was just, my feeling was this guy's usually one of the best iron players on tour. And he's kept missing approach shot after approach shot. And kind of to your point, it's like, he's usually not a great putter, but he's usually very accurate off the tee. And he usually just, can flag it almost every time on his approaches. And when you're not doing both of those things, yeah, it's going to be tough to win a golf tournament when you got a bunch of other guys at the top of the leaderboard who can score. And so, yeah, tough for all the hashtag Rye guys out there today, but we'll be back soon. We will be back soon.
He was missing everything a little bit out to the right off of the tee. Same with some iron shots as well, and tentative with the putter. But I think a lot of guys were tentative with the putter today because they didn't want to have a 3-footer coming back. So you saw a lot of players putting balls that were just barely getting to the hole. And everybody's like, why are they, why is it just getting to the hole? They look tentative. And part of it is yes. But the other part is when you play bumpy greens that are fast, you never want to have a 3-footer coming back because what is normally a putt that is so simple and routine is now stress, and you're thinking about it. And I've played that event. I've played Poana that gets bumpy. It's a scary feeling, and the tournament ended up coming down to that too.
Talk to me a little bit about just we talk about grasses on the show for, off and on. I fancy myself as a very amateur nerd. Yeah. So from a tour experience, how does the Po get that way? We've talked a lot about Poana. Like can be a very tough surface to putt on. We usually talk about it in the context of a lot of West Coast courses that have Po. How does the Po get that way? Is that just like, taking on too much water, or is that more of like, there's something the grounds crew should have been doing to get it a little bit better for those guys? And I'm just curious, the mechanics of how we get to that spot, and if there's anything you can do as a player other than kind of what you're saying, putting defensively.
I would say that Poana, not being somebody that grew up on the grass, just from my experiences of playing a Poana on the tour and occasional other golf courses, it's always been for me just not leaving yourself downhill putts. It's always been very difficult to have fast greens on Poana late in the afternoon. And any time that you had big rains, it was always very, very tricky to kind of navigate those greens, because you a lot of times can see the imperfections in the greens, and mentally that's the issues that I would always run into, is that I would see the just bumps or the slight imperfections for somebody that grew up on bent greens. I was always scared and tentative of that, so I didn't know whether I should putt firm or I should putt soft. And a lot of times, whether I was outside of 10 feet, I was just trying to lag it up there. And if it happened to go in, great, because I did not want to have the tricky downhiller coming back. So I think Saturday is what kind of made the greens turn into, okay, they got a little slower because of the rain. And once you have a little bit of slow greens on Saturday, and then Sunday they're able to get the mowers out and cut them a little bit, they can be a little scary when they're a little softer, and now they're able to get the mowers and roll them a little bit so they'll dry out and be a little quicker. That's kind of the scariest the day after. The day of, it's when they're slow and you can kind of get away with it. They're just bumpy and slow. So interesting stuff.
Listen, I know a guy who putted great on some tour Poana surfaces back in February that were a little bit wet. I just so happen to be looking at him right now. Go watch the Spyglass Hill video on our YouTube.
I'm still hooping right now. I know it's a ongoing ball striking deal in my head. Did you happen to see the Cam Davis interview at the end?
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Can he be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just
Sometimes
did.
The bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
40-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss hit it.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the book.
I mean, here's the question. I know hockey players are pretty superstitious. Do they start to ask themselves the question of being like, we signed Corey Perry? We did what?
No.
We signed Corey Perry? Good news, boys. We're going to the Cup Finals. Bad news, boys. We're losing.
At some point, you got to win one for Corey, right?
I guess
Get
so.
on the team and like, wow, this guy, we gotta win one here.
The Bostonian versus the book.
I'm obviously not connected to Cam Davis's team on what every week or month looks like for him. I just kind of notice his results. Don't have the best relationships with his team. So a big fan of his. I love his game. But Amanda asked him a question, and he talked about how hard he's been working, and just said it's been a bit of a mental struggle for him. And at the end, he said that he's seeing a hypnotherapist. And I started thinking to myself, good for Cam, but do I need to see a hypnotherapist? Like, is that what I need to do? Like, do I need to go see a hypnotherapist?
Yes. And we need to videotape it, please.
I feel like the only hypnotherapists in the country are in New Orleans. I feel like they're all just in NOLA. Is that fair to say or no?
Not a far trip. I mean, my only experience with hypnotherapists in my life is when this is such a deep cut. When I was in school at Carolina and at Granville Towers, they'd hire a hypnotherapist to come in and like hypnotize people and then make them, walk around and cluck like chickens and things like that, all to our great delight before we went off and drank for the night. So I could look into the Granville Towers hypnotherapist for you. I'm assuming you want someone a little more professional than that. Maybe reach out to Cam Davis's team. But New Orleans hypnotherapist, I'm telling you, that'd be great YouTube content if we could get you down there, get you a little voodoo hypno. I'm in for that. I'd say on Cam, it feels like he shot 2 under round today. Looking at some of the best rounds out there, Rico Ahoe was 5 under today. Davis Thompson was 4 under today. But you look at some of the other names on the top of the leaderboard. Minwoo Lee made a nice little move today at around a 3 under. So it wasn't that he wasn't necessarily gifted the tournament, but the guys at the top of the board, Akshay Bhatia has an even par round, Aaron Rai has an even par round. And I think it was on the broadcast I heard Colt and Trevor talking about, just wondering why Cam hasn't won more on tour, because he's so immensely gifted. He's got all the necessary tools, and it seems like he's had some streaks of when he's really in form, but then he kind of falls away for a while. And so it's interesting to hear him note those mental struggles, and then subsequently the route in which he's pursuing improvement there, hypnotherapy. That's quite interesting to me.
Yeah, I think with Cam Davis, just from my watching of him and in times that he's been in contention, he struggles with, I think, knowing when to take risk on and when to not. And it's been simple mistakes that he just kind of compounded errors on easy holes, and then times that he plays over aggressive on holes that he shouldn't. And I think, to me, that's what I've noticed from Cam Davis, just not being able to take advantage of a golf course or a shot or an opportunity when it's presented to itself. And he just finds himself in, top tens, but, he never really has been able to kind of put himself into contention as much as he should. And I noticed that in Napa last year, where I'm like, does this guy know it's Sunday? Like, is he nervous? Like, why is he hitting some shots like this that just don't make any sense? Because he just didn't show any of that the first 3 days. But today, man, like, I just think it was kind of, did he win it, or was it handed to him? I mean, he played really well. He got a really poor break on the 14th hole, hitting that beautiful 3-wood, rolls back in the water, chips it up. I believe he made bogey. I don't think he got it up and down for par.
He missed a par putt there.
He missed that par putt. And then, it was just a weird event, really odd event.
Oh yeah. Weird finish to one that had a lot of, cool storylines. One of them, by the way, can we talk a little bit about the chef, Minwoo Lee? Not once, but twice on the back of the green with the chip shot, telling his caddy, go rip the pin, and holding both of them. I think it was 8 and 15. It was just at that theater. I was again watching my dad, and and I saw the second one. He's like, oh my gosh, he did this twice today. It's like, God, this guy's he's a showman, dude. He is just so good.
He is. And he's going to be kicking himself tonight. Lost by a shot. And if you go look at his day and him being able to chip in and be able to pull off some shots on a Sunday that you kind of need a little bit of luck on a Sunday to go your way to find yourself in contention. He found that, but he also had some mistakes, like the 7th hole, which is typically
he doubled 7, right?
Yeah, it's typically the easiest or one of the easiest holes on the course. I know it's a par 5. Missed the fairway, laid it up, hit it onto the green, had like 25 feet for birdie, and proceeds to 4-putt. Makes a double bogey.
Oh wow, I did not see that.
Yep,
that is tough.
And
for
then
a guy that's not a bad putter usually.
The greens.
There you go. Case in point.
I think it has everything to do with the green set. And then 18. If you go look at the shot thing, he missed like a 6-footer, I believe, for par, and then missed another like 2.5-footer. So.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau!
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
It was nice to at least walk down the last few holes, or at least the last hole, knowing that it was pretty much done. It's never safe, but very proud of everybody, and of course Tiro. I mean, what a week to get his first win in a few years and win by 6 in an absolutely dominant performance the way he did. It was absolutely incredible, so I couldn't be happier for him.
Certainly with not winning for 3.5 years, you kind of naturally question if you can do it again. So I'm just proud of myself to be able to get through that and play the way I did.
let's dive into Cam Young. My one and done pick, my hero this week. I was cheering for Cameron Young harder than I've ever cheered for him in my life. And once you have a rooting interest from somebody, you really start to pay attention to every single thing that they do. And I felt like I was a friend watching from afar, and I just felt like I needed to just go up to him and be like, dude, snap out of it, right? Because when you watch Cam Young, I'm telling you, like 2 or 3 times a day, I'm just doing some work here on the computer, and I have the golf on, and I hear this sound coming off of a face, and I was like, whoa, who was that? Every single time it was Cam Young. And I thought that said everything you needed to know about Cameron Young, which is undeniable power and just raw talent and skills. But one of the biggest ingredients that he is missing that I felt like Trevor nailed right at the end, because Colt said, what's the takeaway this week? And Trevor said, you know what? He's got to start working on his mental game. And that is exactly what I've been noticing, and what Trevor was able to take away from the back nine on a Sunday is that he's too hard on himself. He is way too hard on himself. And I wonder if he's just a little bit too proud to work on his mental game, because what I see is somebody that has really high expectations for themselves and wants perfection and demands it out of himself, out of his team. And doesn't it feel like a player like him, the longer this goes along, where he doesn't get that win and doesn't look himself in the mirror, maybe this is the week in which he says, you know what? I need to be kinder to myself. Like Trevor said, after he's putting out on Sunday, I need to find a way to be kinder to myself when the moments are the biggest, and find a way for a little smile to come out. Let me see some Cam Young pearly whites on a Sunday. Let me see just that beard glisten a little bit more, because for somebody that was his biggest fan this week, nobody was cheering for him harder. He was hard to root for because of the way he was just kind of belittling himself. Who knows what he was saying under his breath. I was that way. I understand what he's going through. That is exactly how I was wired. I don't want that drive to go away, but use it in a way in which it'll fuel you to winning golf tournaments, like a way that kind of like John Rahm does. Yes, does he cuss a lot? Absolutely. Is he the model citizen on a golf course? Absolutely not. But what is he able to do? He's able to turn the page from one shot to a next on a Sunday on a back nine and realize, hey, this isn't a time to sulk. This isn't a time to look at shots that I didn't pull off. We've got to find a way to get the ball in the hole and understand what it takes to win a golf tournament, what that number is going to be. Hopefully Cam Young and his team are able to go do that, because he definitely needs to go and look in the mirror and be like, I should have won that golf tournament. This was my tournament to win.
He is a guy that, kind of similar to the point you're making earlier about looking up when you're hearing a certain sound. He's a guy who I love to watch hit the golf ball, and has since he first came on tour. And honestly, when he first arrived, the guy who he reminded me the most of was Dustin Johnson. Oh, there we go. A little Sleepy Hollow water bottle. Shout out Cam Young. Big Cam Young guy. Many people saying I swing like Cam Young. So, big Cam Young guy. Big Cam Young guy. But I mean, to me, he reminded me a lot of Dustin Johnson, because he was so mild-mannered and quiet and hit the ball a mile, was pretty easygoing. But in those years since, like really, I don't know that it started at the Genesis where he narrowly lost to Joaquin Niemann, but maybe kind of just in the months after that and kind of a dip in form. It just seems like more and more of his story is the looking at putts every single time he misses a putt, just looking up and I can't believe it did that, or, looking at his caddy and just wondering. And this is not even speculation. I'm not assigning any sort of value to this, but just wondering what happened when Paul Tesori got Cam Young's bag. And the first week he finished runner-up in the match play, I'm thinking this guy is going to take off. He's going to the moon. He's got the right guy on his bag. If there's maturing he needs to do on the PGA Tour, this is the guy to kind of be with him. And then that partnership dissolves so quickly. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what the reasons were behind it, but it just makes me wonder where his head's at and what the types of things he's going through. And we see a lot of caddy player relationships dissolve over just not being the right voice for a guy at a certain time.
Yeah.
So that one was always a big question mark to me. And so all that is by way of saying I'm in the same boat as you. Is like it's just I think he needs to look himself in the mirror a little bit and just say, hey, it's not a talent thing. I have all the talent in the world. It's just, it's just finding the right person to talk to him, and kind of talk him through some of the things, that he's just doing mentally and get him to a better place. Because I think that simple fix could just make a world of difference in, just some of these, you make a bad score or you hit a bad putt and it's like, okay. I mean, I thought there was, I was really impressed today. I know Akshay didn't win the tournament, but the hole, and I'm forgetting which hole it was, where he hit that tree off the tee. It was like a 97, 98 yard drive. And if I didn't show you the shot, you would have, and you were just looking at his behavior and handing the club to the caddy, it's like he probably just striped another one 300 yards down the middle of the fairway and goes up there and makes an incredible working man's par. And it's like, I'm not saying Cam Young doesn't do that, doesn't have the capability to do that. It's just, I think there's so much that goes into how you handle yourself and react to, negative situations and just accept result and go out and hit the ball wherever it is next. That I think, that simple fix, it has nothing to do with his talent. But if he can make that change, I mean, I think the wins are going to start coming in bunches.
Yeah, and I want to touch a little bit more on the Akshay stuff that you just mentioned here, just after tying a knot on Cameron Young. And we said this when Paul Tesori and Cameron Young split up, said the same thing, look in the mirror, that whole thing, because we all know Paul Tesori to be one of the game's best caddies. You put him in the top 5, Ted Scott, there's the list is, it's a small list of guys that you're like, okay, yeah, Paul Tesori's he's that good. And I think he's the reason why he is, besides just being a good player, a really good person, somebody that has a ton of experience, is that I think he's really one of the best coaches, if you will, for a caddy and a player. And I think that's what you're starting to see it with Tom Kim. Tom Kim believes in Paul Tesori. He's totally fine with taking advice and just good old hard fashioned love and coaching from a guy who's there for every single shot and every single moment of every day on the PGA Tour. And I felt like in my conversations with Paul and just observing Cameron that I think you can say that relationship should have worked. And the reason why it didn't, I think, was much more Cameron Young than it was Paul Tesori.
Interesting.
I think it shows just a little bit of immaturity from Cameron, from a guy who I wouldn't call very immature as a person off the course, very mature, very smart, really very hard worker. But I think you got to find a way, if you're Cameron now, to be like, all right, why has it not happened yet? Why is it not happening? Are you going to keep blaming whether it's just bad luck or bad greens on Sunday, or is it maybe, am I just not quite there mentally yet to be able to go do it? And I think that's where we're at with Cameron. At least that's where I'm at.
Well, and I think too, the whole driver, the shaft or whatever, the head snapping, when he kind of pressed down on an anger is sort of encapsulates that entire thing, because all that does is put you at a competitive disadvantage. That's all it does, you know, and I get it. We all get frustrated on golf course.
Can't do it there.
I'm one of the best golf club throwers in America. Like, I can helicopter that thing like nobody else. But like, it's just like you just can't do it in that spot at that time. With that many holes left to play, where you need that driver to put you in a good spot.
Put it on the other foot. Let's play a little hypothetical.
Okay.
So Cameron Young, he hits 3-wood gap wedge into the 16th hole, downwind. Doesn't carry the gap wedge far enough, spins it back, hits a putt about 4 feet, 5 feet by, misses that putt. Okay, if you want to count that as a 2-putt, fine. There's one shot. 17th hole, 3-wood onto the green. Could have been a driver, maybe a hybrid. Maybe he hits it closer, maybe it's an easier 2-putt birdie. We're going to definitely count that as a missed opportunity shot there. So we're talking 2 shots.
technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes obviously after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire Pat Hobert.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Like cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
I'm not telling you you're wrong by any means. It wouldn't surprise me if you went 5. I'm just using history as my guide, I guess.
Well, on the topic of young talent, can we shout out to my guy, Luke Clanton, for just coming through when I just dark horsed him this week. Good playing, Luke.
It was a
really
good
playing.
What got you on Luke Clanton? Because I'd made a note earlier that week to try to mention Luke Clanton. And then when you mentioned him, I was like, golly, I totally forgot to write him down, but I was happy that you did.
I'm going to take you deep inside my process, Smylie, because it's very, very scientific. It's called data gut. Okay, so here are the two components of data gut. Okay, one is data golf, which is such a beautiful tool that I paid a lot of money to use, and I'm so happy that I've done it because it's fantastic. The second is
do you actually pay for data golf?
I do pay for data golf.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what is paying for it do? Do you get extra what?
You get like a whole laundry list of additional tools that you can use that are
so phenomenal. I should be using it.
I will give you my login at a very discounted rate. Wait,
nobody turn us into data golf, please.
Please don't turn us into data golf. This is data golf. We're giving you lots of pub here. You have an amazing service that I love. So the second part of data gut is, of course, the gut part, which is just so when I'm looking at kind of the stats coming into the week and who data golf's models like, where they think they're gonna. I think it's really easy to cross reference, what the books are saying in terms of odds versus what data golf is saying in terms of who they like the most. And when you see a guy that is much higher on data golf's list of predictive who's going to play well at this course based on recent results and based on course fit, that to me is like, okay, then you just get a little flag, right? Like I'm putting you on my short list of guys, and then I'm going to go and look at that list of guys and say, what have I watched recently that tells me this guy's in good form, or that I've seen this guy hit shots, or I feel like he has a certain game. So the thing I liked about Luke was I thought he played fantastic at the U.S. Open. He and Neil Shipley were right there going back and forth for low AM honors before Neil, of course, turned pro, was in the field this week, also played well. And what I specifically liked here is like, I feel like when you go to a course where it's going to be a score fest, there's something about a young guy who just wants to come in and let it rip, who's willing to kind of roll the dice and take some gambles, that just really kind of suits those type of courses. So it was a combination of looking at a set of stats that really, kind of bode well for Luke versus, what his betting odds were. It was a combination of watching him play recently and then additionally just being like, this guy's going to go in there and just have at it as an AM and just roll the dice. I think he's going to go low. And sure enough, tied for 10th, 14 under for the week.
Yeah, it's a great pick. And I think the US Open thing was great that you talked about him and Neil going at it. But I think there was some advanced metrics like you talked about with Data Golf, and his ball striking on Sunday was apparently really good at Pinehurst and was really high up in that Pinehurst US Open ball striking statistics, which you're like, all right, give me that.
Yes.
So
100%.
We know how difficult that was. So yeah. Let's see what Luke can do the rest of the year. Kept an eye on that guy for a while now. Just quite the stud, Luke Clanton. And he's an amateur though, so is he
still an AM? Still an AM, yeah, yeah.
I wonder what the word is on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, didn't you? I actually have no idea what class is he. Is he a freshman or a sophomore?
No, he's definitely not a fresh. I think he's a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah,
because he was in the national championship match, against Auburn, and we were talking about him and Jackson Coyven, who I didn't see where Jackson finished.
He shot even, missed cut.
Oh, there you go. So, okay, Smylie, here's what I'm proposing then as we kind of take victory laps and all this. So we got the John Deere Classic this week, and we've been doing our Instagram lives for the most part. Well, I guess we did this last one on Wednesday morning, but we've done some Tuesday evening. I'm playing North Berwick at 12:30 Scotland time on Tuesday. So I'll be off the course around 4:30. That's like 11:30 Eastern. That's 10:30 your time on Tuesday. What do we think about a little post North Berwick Instagram live to give the people some John Deere Classic one and done picks?
As long as you have a pint in your hand, I'm in.
I can arrange for a pint
on the back patio of 18. I want you to call me as soon as you're done, and we will do it.
I love that so much. I'm telling we're going straight from there to Russex.
Actually, can you just do it like walking down a fairway at North Berwick?
It might interfere a little bit with my round. We'll see. We'll see how up for it I am. Maybe
when you get to the 18th hole at North Berwick, just realize that I opted out to not play the 18th hole just because I cared for everybody in the street on the right in the parking lot that lines the 18th hole.
Smylie, let me tell you something. You can appreciate this as a guy with the high odds. In my worst nightmare, I'm standing on a tee at Turnberry with a 30-mile-per-hour left to right wind, and it does not matter how far left I aim. I could aim just at a 90-degree angle. The ball is still going to end up 50 yards right of my intended target. Like Turnberry just ate my lunch for that reason. But like even at Western Gales is such a phenomenal course, but the way it's situated is it's right on the water. So like the first 4 holes go out this way, and you turn right around and you play 5 through 13 back along the ocean, like right on the coastline this way, and then 14 through 18. It's like almost like a racetrack. 14 through 18 go right back home, and you finish right at the clubhouse. So today, 1 through 4 were a nightmare because it was left to right wind, left to right wind. 5 through 13, I was like, sign me up for a mini tour qualifier. Like I am so good. Like I hit a drive. Back. I was so back. And then we flipped it around on 14. I was like, oh, there's a guy I know. That's the old left to right wind again. I just can't. There's nothing I can do. And the wind here is just, once it starts blowing, you just got no chance. So
100%. And if you've made it this far in the episode and you're here at the beginning, and if you realize that Charlie is at the site of the the Open Championship, just 3 weeks away, you just gotta feel like he needs to do the service for the people and he needs to go walk this golf course. He really does need to go do his homework. If he doesn't walk the course, at least just have that the vibes and the juju when you do make your one and done pick, that it comes from a place of, yeah, I've walked those grounds. I know exactly what this place is like. I think you owe it to all the listeners, subscribers, and all those folks that follow the show. You're there. Don't skip out on what could be a winning one and done pick at a major. That's just gonna leave that right there.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Tell them, look, I'm at a very, I'm a just host of a very major podcast with Smylie Cobb.
Just hand over all your one and done picks from the year and be like,
yeah,
I have to do this. I have to do this. Like, no, sir, you can't go out there. No, you don't understand.
You don't get it.
I have to do this.
I'll say, look, I'll WhatsApp you our picks before we make them so we don't move any lines. You too can get in on this. You can get a great price on these picks. Let me see what I can do. I took a good look at the 18th green where it's all going to finish. And it's so cool. I mean, the green is like,
cool. Yeah,
there's a green, there's like, 2 yards of rough. And then it's like, the little pebble walkway in the clubhouse. Like, please do not hit it long because I can't imagine the RNA is giving out TIO relief for funsies. So it's a cool little finisher right there in front of the clubhouse and a really cool course. And I know that this is the one place you played in your Open Championship, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Postage stamp. Yeah, maybe I'll go out, take a little look at the postage stamp to make sure I'm well researched for the people. But yeah, left or right wins out here. Really hoping we don't get any of those at Prestwick. We're probably going to get those at Prestwick. And that's really, that's the most what I had for you. I had some for American Airlines. I did make my flight on time, but I'm not going to do it. But American Airlines, I just want you to know you're on notice. And I may be asking for the flight voucher you gave back to my wife when you kicked her off a plane without volunteering and told her she volunteered as a pregnant woman. I might be asking for that in cash, so I never have to fly your airline again. But we're not going to go there yet because I still have the back end flights home to Raleigh, Durham, and you might cancel my itinerary if I go too far. I would like to say, unless you have anything on American Airlines, Smylie.
Oh, I do.
Okay, please take the floor here.
All I want to say is I'm so due for an American Airlines mishap. That's all I wanted to say.
It's bound to happen. I mean, it's mind-boggling that
it's summertime. I'm due.
We had 2 family incidents in the span of 3 weeks, maybe. So I'll leave it at that. The one thing I would like to end the episode with is iMessage stickers.
Oh, I haven't gotten to it yet, but some people have been doing it in the group chat. I'm going to get to it. Just haven't quite got there yet.
Complete game changer. Like the best. It's emojis on a whole different level. You could do them with live photos.
How do I do it?
So this movement. Okay. So just go to any picture, go to like a picture of Anna Carter you have recently. And basically you pull that picture up.
Okay.
And you press down on the subject in that picture and it kind of does this little like highlighting thing.
How do you press down the subject of the picture?
Or
You just like hold it?
No, like the person in the picture. Like you would press down on Aaron Carter briefly, and then it'll pop up and it'll say add sticker.
Oh God, that's dangerous.
And so then what happens then is in an iMessage chat, you can either just send that sticker separate as a text in itself, or you can like click down on someone's text in the chat or whatever in the stream, and you can add a sticker to that text.
Okay.
Almost like you're reacting to it with an emoji or something like that. And then you can like make it bigger. It's a beautiful, beautiful world of messaging interaction. And I just want to give a big kudos to Apple for installing that feature because it is the best.
Okay. I'll start working on it.
I've got a good one. For you here. I'm just going to text this to you so you can see it. I'm going to put this on the fax machine.
Please.
Where this is my son in an Eagle shirt climbing a stairwell. And it's just
look at that.
You see that? That's pretty good stuff there, isn't it?
Yeah. I got a
moves.
lot of really good videos of some friends that could be
stickers.
It's just going to be a plug and play, honestly.
I think you entering the stickers world is going to be great for us as a show, for all of your group chats. Everyone out there on iMessage, stickers, use them. It's lots of fun.
It looks like you can't do if it's a screenshot, you can't do anything about that.
I think you can. Sometimes those are harder to get it to go, but I think if you put the right effort into it, it works.
Okay.
You can make it work. See, and looking, if you go back to our text, I just made Walker bigger, and now he's like climbing all over the middle of the text while my dog Nora walks around the background. They're just the best. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I love it. All right, noted.
Stickers.
Noted.
Thing. That's all I got for you, Smylie. It's now 12:27 in Troon.
Yeah, go to bed.
I'm going to go to bed,
Peace.
and we're going to do one and done picks for the John Deere Classic from North Barrack Back Patio 18 on Tuesday. I guess mid to late morning in America.
Perfect.
Love
See you
it.
there. So, see you another time.
See you another time. Thanks everybody for listening to watching, and we will talk to you very, very soon.